Peace and blessings, everybody. Hi, this is the Gemini Creations monthly live webinar broadcast series, and I am your host, Ashante Fernandes. Um, I just wanted to welcome everybody onto the broadcast who's on. Sorry, we started a little bit late, but we're getting the hang of this. This is the first time we're really bringing it into a webinar format, so we're kind of experimenting with these different types of formats. So I'm going to share this video so everybody who has signed up for the event knows where we are. And that you guys can log in through your YouTube pages as well as your Google Plus pages, and you guys will be able to see what's going on. So this is awesome. This is a cool new experience for me, particularly. I haven't done this before. So on live now. So I just want to make sure that we get a little audience going and all of that stuff before we get started. So I'm going to give it a little bit of time so everybody can get settled in. And that will be awesome. So I'm just looking through everything, seeing where everything has been going. So I hope everybody has been having a productive week and an amazing spring experience. I know that there's a lot of transformative energy that's actually around at this time. So thank you so much for deciding to tune in with me. Let's also look for something. Okay. Sorry, just looking at something really quickly. We'll get started in about 5 minutes. We'll get this broadcast going. Again, this is the Gemini Creations Spiritual Protection event. We are talking about how to keep your space spiritually clean and protected. This is a very, very close subject to my heart. For me, it changed a lot of things for me spiritually. It allowed me to open up and move past a lot of blockages. So I hope this information can do the same for a lot of you who are in the cyber world listening back to this event or watching us on air live right now. Okay, so it seems like we're gonna get everything started. All right, sounds good. Cool. So, of course, as usual, I am your host, the Gemini Creatress. Tay Queen. I am a healer by life path and entrepreneur. I am a spirit coach. I'm also a certified herbalist, and I just an overall holistic health enthusiast. I love spirituality. I love holistic health. I love encompassing the wellness and the overall care of the whole person, not just the spirit and not just the body, but your overall wellness and health. And so this is, like I was saying earlier, keeping your space spiritually clean and protected. And that is a really, really key and imperative aspect of spiritual work. So anybody who's into spirit work, who is an empath, a shaman, a healer on any level, you should all know how to spiritually cleanse your space. This is a really, really, really important piece of doing the work that you need to do and making sure that your work is potent and effective. So we're going to start off with understanding what spiritual energy is. So, spiritual energy permeates throughout all things adamant and non adamant. It is the fabric of this universe and the basis of which all physical realities are built upon. So, when the flow of this energy becomes impeded, then the energy stagnates and slows down in vibration, allowing for lower frequency energies to reside and manifest in that space. So this is why it's extremely important to understand the art of cleansing the energy around your space and around your spirit. So basically, what can happen is the universal spiritual energy that flows throughout everything. It flows throughout your home, flows throughout nature, flows throughout our bodies, even. And this natural, amazing, organic life force energy is what actually keeps us alive and keeps us going. But sometimes there are certain things, whether it be negative people, negative thought patterns, negative situations, um, or whatever the case may be, that can manifest in a space where the energy is stagnant. Now, how that happens is the energy has not been moved properly. The energy, the ions in that particular sphere are unnatural, and it's allowing for lower frequency energies to manifest in that space. Some people refer to it as spirits or uh, demons, even devils, all those different types of words. I don't really like to use those words because sometimes they kind of have connotations to them. I like to say lower frequency thought forms. And these lower frequency thought forms can actually attach to you, your aura, your home, and feed off of the negative energy that they create. So it's extremely important that we learn how to cleanse and get rid of those energies. So the negative energy vortexes or stagnant energies allow for these low frequency entities and situations to enter into our lives. And that's why it's customary in certain spiritual traditions to smudge or clear the energy of a space before performing any type of high spiritual science. So, if you look in shamanic traditions and the Native American, excuse me, my eye is doing a weird thing. Anyway, sorry. If you look at the spiritual traditions and the Native American spirituality or the Native American shamanic traditions, or even if you look into African and different indigenous, even into Asia and India and different places like that, there's a customarily like a cleansing that is done of spaces before these spaces are actually utilized for high spiritual purposes. So that's extremely important. Um, and it's something that's necessary for everyone to do. It's not just something that's, hey, you know what I mean? I don't need to do that because I don't really, deal with high spiritual science. Okay, if you don't deal with high spiritual sciences, that's fine. But maybe you just have negative energies in your life that you just want to clear out, or maybe you just want to evolve spiritually as a person. Whatever your particular preset notion is about the experience is not the point. The point is that everybody needs to cleanse the energy. You clean your body, right? You clean your physical, the outside physical aspects of your body. So why not clean your space? And I don't just mean cleaning your space physically, even though that is a part of it, because lower frequency energies also like to dwell in very disorganized spaces as well. And that's how sometimes stagnant energy can build up as well. So those are a couple of the reasons as to why we need to um, cleanse, and also how the spiritual energy works and how that actually breaks down. So, how to tell if it's time to cleanse? Well, one of the really key things that you're going to begin to notice around your space is that maybe it just doesn't feel as homey for you. You don't feel comfortable in your space. You go, maybe I'll change the space around, or maybe I want to change the colors or redecorate. And these are great ways to bring new energy psychologically into the space. But it's also important that we maintain, again, the energetic quality and the energetic integrity of the space that we dwell in. So when you feel that the energy around you has become tense, stagnant, or blocked, it means that it's time to get the energy around you back flowing. Again, remember what I talked about before, when the energy becomes stagnant, or when there's some type of blockage impeding on the natural life force flow of energy, in Asia, they often preserve that energy with feng shui. That's the same concept we're talking about here. We're talking about keeping the frequency high in that space so that good things can manifest, so that wealth, prosperity, abundance, health, uh, good relationships, clear communication, creativity, all these different things can begin to manifest in these spaces. So if you're experiencing blockages in any of those particular areas in your life, maybe it's time to clear out the energies in your space. And when I say your space, I don't just mean your home, I mean your office space, I mean your cars, I mean any place that you are continuously, even around your home, the outside of your home, and of course your own auric space, as a personal electromagnetic field that is around you. So those are some of the ways that you'll be able to know that it's time for you to cleanse out your space. Some of the spiritual protection methods are a defense against the onset of these energies. For example, let's say you have a neighbor or a new neighbor that's moved in to your apartment building, and they brought with them some negative or conflicting energies that are just not congruent with your lifestyle. This happens a lot. And their energy now becomes a part of the collective consciousness of your living space. So in order to preserve your space's tranquility and peace, it may become necessary to utilize certain crystals, certain herbs, certain symbols, certain sounds, even to disperse that negative energy that has been brought in by that other person, and that is now added into your own particular personal energetic field. So it's great for you to allow these high frequency energies from the herbs, from the crystals, from all these different things to be able to come in and prevent and remove the negative stigmas, situations, attitudes, and energies that are occurring in your space. So, I mean, sometimes, okay, it's obviously a part of life that we're going to have discord, disharmony, and that's going to be a part of things sometimes. And sometimes what we perceive as discord or negative occurrences are actually transformational periods that allow us to be able to go to another level of consciousness. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if you ever go into a space and that space has continual arguing, continual chaos, continual issues, continual blockages, continual poverty, continual different things. And you can go into different places, even cities can carry energy like this. You can go into different places and you can actually feel the oppressive or the suppressive energy around you. And that's what I'm talking about removing at this particular point. So once you begin to feel these different things, and you see these different signs, that's how you know it's time to clear and cleanse your space. Now, particularly for me, I cleanse and clear my space often. I'm talking about basically every day at this point. So um, it's extremely important that anybody who considers a spiritual life path, as a healer, as a consultant, as anybody who's just trying to live their life, it's extremely important that you possibly utilize the strengths of being able to spiritually cleanse your space. Okay? So, again, if you guys have any questions throughout any of the portions or the periods of this particular broadcast, you should be able to ask them inside of the broadcast, or I think you can actually watch it even inside of the event itself. I'm going to check and see if that's available for you guys. If not, you can go to facebook.com/Gemini Creations, GEMINEYE Creations, and you can ask the questions there. You can contact me at TaeQueen, TaeQueen, at hotmail.com, and email me your questions as well, and I'll take them from there as well. So just want to look over here and see if I can get that. Anyway, so moving forward, um, some of the cleansing and protection herbs that are extremely amazing that are out there. They're just some of the most popular, of course, one of which is sage. Have been traditionally used for centuries in different spiritual systems to be able to preserve the integrity of the space and the frequency of a space. So one of the most common ways to use these herbs is to smudge them or to actually burn the herb in a bundle and allow the smoke to cleanse and permeate the space. Incense are another way of utilizing different herbs and essences to be able to disperse a smell, or also to disperse that the essence of that that particular plant or herb into the space as well. And sometimes some people carry these herbs with them in satchels called mojo bags or whatever the case may be. Any way in which you use it, it's up to you, however you feel comfortable utilizing the herbs. But some of the amazing herbs that I love to use for those particular purposes, whether it be sprinkling them around the house or whether it be burning them. Some of them I don't recommend that you burn, and I'll let you know which ones not to burn. But others of them are amazing, and they allow you to be able to utilize. Just going to adjust the camera a little bit. Sorry about that. They're going to be able to allow you to utilize that protective property that's lying within the herb. The herb in and of itself is a living adamant thing, and it has its own spirit. And each of the herbs carry their own particular personality and identity. These identities can be identified by their medicinal qualities as well as their spiritual uses. So some of the herbs that I'm going to be recommending to you have multiple uses. Mostly are used either for or for cleansing purposes. So those are the two ways in which either of these particular herbs can be used. So the first one, of course, which I mentioned a little bit earlier, is sage. Sage is an amazing cleansing herb, especially when it's used as a smudge in a smudge stick. I sage and smudge my house very often. Basil is another amazing protective herb. I actually posted on the Gemini Creations Facebook page. I actually was able to post a bath, a cleansing aura bath that uses sage. So you can bathe with these herbs. There's all kinds of things that you can do with these herbs. Basil is another one. Cayenne pepper is a great protective herb. And I know you kind of think about cayenne pepper as a more seasoning, but it's also used for spiritual properties of protection. Please do not burn any pepper. If you burn pepper, what will happen is you will also burn the hairs out of your nose. Do not burn pepper. It's not a good idea. You can sprinkle it around. That's fine. You can utilize it in a mojo bag. That's fine. Or carry it around with you. That's fine. And it will do the same thing as if you were to smudge with it, but do not smudge with pepper. Do not smudge with cayenne pepper. Do not smudge with black pepper. Do not smudge with any pepper. Okay, so black pepper is the other to recommend pepper because it's not a good thing, and I will be responsible or accountable for you burning pepper. Okay, and beginning to cough and do all these other things. So don't burn the peppers. But garlic can be hung around different places, can be carried, utilized in those particular ways. It's a little bit smelly, so I wouldn't recommend always kind of utilizing that particular herb. Palo Santo wood is an amazing wood that kind of allows you to be able to do the same thing like you would do with sage or a smudge stick. Um, you can utilize it by burning it and then allowing the smoke to fill the space. Hyssop is a great cleansing herb. It's a purification herb. It's traditionally and primarily used to get rid of negative spirits that have built up on your particular aura. So if you're dealing with energetic blockages that you may think maybe somebody has intentionally or unintentionally directed negative energy at you, hyssop baths or bathing in hyssop or carrying hyssop can kind of prevent those energies from kind of permeating into your aura and then manifesting into your reality. Lime leaf is actually another amazing protective herb as well. Frankincense is a cleansing and purification herb that actually allows the energy. So does myrrh as well, and they're traditionally used together. Together, they kind of complement each other and create this amazing combination, not only aromatically, but they also create a combination that's great for uplifting the vibrational frequency. So after you clean out the energy, it's often great to bring in some energies that are kind of like transmutational, and they can take that negative energy and convert it into positive. And frankincense and myrrh are some of the best particular incense and herbs to do those types of things, especially in their resin form. They're really powerful. Patchouli is another amazing incense or herb that you can utilize to get rid of negative entities and negative spirits. Aloe vera, just simply growing aloe vera, using aloe vera on the body or bathing with aloe vera. These are great ways to, it's actually ruled by the planet Mars, so it has a very highly protective energy to it, and it's actually great and for protection, for spiritual protection, and getting rid of negative entities or negative thought forms. Anise, star anise, is also good for spiritual protection purposes. Bay leaves, as well as parsley and rosemary. All of those, every single herb except for the peppers can actually be burned in smudge sticks form, incense forms. I'm not pretty sure how you burn aloe, but I mean, they can probably find a way to do it, if you're determined. And most of those herbs are available. The amazing thing about it is that they're so readily accessible. They're available at like your local grocery store, and they're easy to use in mojo bags in their dried forms. As also you can release them into an infusion by boiling them, and then use that water as either a spiritual mist if you can't burn those particular herbs because the place that you are in does not allow smoke for whatever reason. You can heat up the herbs in water, and then you can actually utilize the essences of those herbs as a spiritual mist. So that's one of the aspects or ways in which you can spiritually protect and keep your spiritual space clean. One of the other ways in which you can actually keep your spiritual space clean is by utilizing crystals. Crystals are often prized for their ability to ward off negative energy, as well as bring in new and positive frequencies into a space. They're commonly used for bathing, meditation, altar adornment, gridding, carrying, and talisman purposes. So I deal a lot with crystals. I'm often known as the crystal lady. And that's what a lot of majority of what we sell at Gemini Creations. We sell a lot of crystals, and so we deal with a lot of people who ask about protection crystals. And one of the reasons why I love crystals so much is because most of them have some type of protective or positive cleansing, purificational kind of property to them. Some more than others, but almost every crystal that you can possibly get has a degree of that energy. And that's because crystals are likened to the seventh dimension or the angelic realm. And the angels are extremely protective and helpful energies. So a lot of the consciousness that is in the crystal kingdom is actually in the part of the angelic consciousness. So Utilizing crystals as a form of protection is great. The only precursor about this is if you intend to do any type of dark side work or dark side magic, I don't recommend you bringing in stones because stones are really more for light work, kind of a light energy, unless other specified. Some crystals can be utilized, but for the most part, most crystals need to be utilized for light work. Um, so some of the most protective and cleansing crystals that you can use, and this also includes different minerals. So it's not just crystals in the context of gemstones. I'm also talking about crystals in the form of different minerals. Okay? So one that I have actually right here in my hand, this is amethyst, extremely protective stone. Love this stone. Carry it with me often, most places. Not this particular one. I have another amethyst piece that's a little bit more portable. Another great stone that you can get is citrine. Citrine is highly regenerative, highly restorative, or highly revitalizing. It's very kind of transmutational, and it also never needs to be charged. So this is really great because it's like you can actually put a piece of citrine in with other crystals, and it will actually help charge those crystals. So citrine is a must-have in your protective stone collection. Hematite is another amazing stone. Do I have some hematite? I do. I think I have some in stock. Hold on. Let me show you guys what it looks like. I really love hematite. It's just an amazing all-around energy. It's very grounding, very protective, and very cleansing. If you're in a negative mood or have a negative attitude or anything that's dealing with negative energy, it's especially in its magnetized form, like here. See the magnetized form of hematite, you can actually dispel literally and deflect that energy off of your aura. So I love hematite for those particular purposes. Great also for getting rid of negative thought patterns. Black tourmaline, which I have a little small piece right here. Black tourmaline, another amazing protective stone. The energy on it is just really, really kind of putting away this hematite. It's very guarding and kind of very how do I say, defensive, but not in a negative way. It's very guarding, kind of securing, very grounding. Black tourmaline's amazing for warding off negative energies. Onyx is a very great stone for cleansing and purifying negative emotions like depression, grief, those types of issues, and any place that there's been a lot of those issues around. So placing onyx, and maybe, after a funeral or after a gathering, after a funeral, or where people have been mourning or have just holding on to a lot of grief, regret, guilt, and those types of issues. Onyx is another amazing stone to have in those types of particular situations. Tiger's eye, great traditional protective stone. It is utilized for very highly protective purposes and just getting rid of negative situations and negative energies. Ruby is actually a very powerful stone that was in ancient times was actually placed into people's armor when they went into war. That's how protective the energy of ruby is. So if you're in any type of combative situations, ruby can actually be a very useful stone to have, either as a piece of jewelry or just as a raw piece around. Carnelian as well, a very highly energetic stone. It's very good for also bringing in lots of positive energy and keeping a space kind of high frequency and high energy. Um, Clear quartz. Now, the only thing about clear quartz is I recommend that you charge it very often. It's a conductor of energy, and it just sucks all the negative energy out of a place, but it also transmutes it. So and replaces it with positive energy, similar to the citrine. So clear quartz is another amazing protective stone that I highly recommend. Smoky quartz as well, it's even like it's very protective, very grounding, and even more so than the clear quartz. and just a great all around energy to keep around in your space. It's a very grounding, and but it's not harsh at all. It's very grounding, yet securing. It just has a very beautiful energy to it. Red jasper is another stone that's great to utilize for protective purposes and cleansing purposes. Adventurine, another protective stone. Fire agate, extremely protective, especially in combative situations as well. And it also absorbs negative energy. Malachite, protective and also revitalizing simultaneously, has a lot of healing and transformational properties towards it. Black obsidian is another great stone to keep in spaces that have high levels of negative energy. It literally sucks out the negative energy and draws it into itself. Bloodstone, similar in that particular way, but also very protective, very kind of shields you from a lot of negative energies and negative experiences. Selenite is a very awesome stone because it actually guards your space and your home against violence and violent outbursts, which is really useful if you live in different areas of the planet where there's a lot of violence. Sulfur. Sulfur is amazing at purifying. It's a very purifying energy. Also, sulfur in the powder form can also be used and sprinkled around the home to evade or to get rid of negative energy. Pink or sea salt is also another mineral that can be utilized in the powder form as well. And it actually has the same kind of properties, very protective, and just kind of gets rid of and pushes out those negative energies. So I hope everybody's doing pretty good with all of this information. Peace and blessings to everybody who's been tuning in, and thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate this. And to everybody who's not watching live and you guys are watching later, that's why it's recorded. So this will be recorded for everybody who's watching right now, as well as everybody who's going to be watching later. So it's great. All this information is gonna be saved. Okay? Cool. So let's get into another facet of how we can keep our spiritual space clean. And it's crazy because it's funny, if anybody knows me or has known me for a while, I've been having this conversation with people in my head, of this presentation with people in my head for quite some time. And that's just simply because you have a lot of people who are eager to get into spirituality and they're just not doing it in a proper order. And like I said earlier, you need to cleanse your space before you do any type of spiritual work on yourself, whether it be meditation, self-cultivation, whether it be energy work of any kind. Please cleanse your space. And all of these different methods are applicable in different ways and in different situations. So here are some symbols that are really key in unlocking spiritual power and spiritual protection power. And I just started working with sigils and symbols about maybe 2 years ago. They are extremely powerful. I mean, I've been subconsciously working with them for a while, but really intentionally broadening my information base and my knowledge about the symbols has been a great experience as well. So symbols hold sacred geometric meanings inside of their unique lines and unsuspecting shapes. They hold power of both sound and matter in their meaning. They can be hung up around sacred spaces and outside of homes, used in spiritual work or whatever the case may be. So like I was saying earlier, I really just started to get into these about maybe 2 years ago, which is relatively new. I've been dealing with spirituality for about 10 years now. And I made it, and this is another thing, I made it a point in my spiritual journey to be very selective about how I chose to go about pursuing different spiritual means. What I mean by that is I didn't start with the whole context of I want money, so let me do a prosperity ritual. I want love, so let me do a love ritual. No, what you kind of want to take as an approach to your spiritual path, and this is just from me and me speaking from my own experiences, but also speaking with other highly experienced shamans, in their own paths, and people who are doing or energy workers in their paths. Cultivation is key. So part of cultivation, like I said, was saying earlier, is this process and this step, learning how to spiritually cleanse and protect your space. This is more important than knowing how to banish, than knowing how to kind of manifest prosperity or whatever the case may be, because you can do all of those different things down to the T. But if you have not spiritually cleansed your space first, none of those particular energy works will be effective. Once you have cultivated your spiritual space to the point where it's very protected, very cleansed, and you feel very comfortable in those spaces, it's much easier to do the energy work that you need to do. So some of those spiritual protection symbols that I would like to work with particularly, and I recommend anybody working with who, and also don't just take my word for these things, go and research these things yourself. And also, if you don't feel comfortable with a particular symbol, research its actual meaning before you kind of dismiss it. So the Ankh is one symbol. It's often referred to as the Egyptian cross. I don't like that term just because in ancient Egypt they had the cross as a symbol already. So that's not there. The Ankh was a deliberate separate symbol from the cross. So it has a round shape at the top, and it kind of has like the intersecting cross down here. It similarly looks like the symbol for a woman or female. Um, and it's a very amazing symbol that can be utilized for protection purposes, for blessing purposes, for prosperity purposes. It literally means life. It literally is the encompassment and embodiment of life. The Celtic cross is another great symbol. It actually refers to the astrological energy. Um, and if you actually look at an astrology chart, you'll actually see the Celtic cross in it at the ways that it's delineated. Um, Celtic knots. I got into Celtic knots about last year. They are really, really beautiful, powerful pieces of art, and actually they represent the interconnectedness. So there are different kinds of Celtic knots for different purposes. You can actually look them up and research some of what those are, but also utilizing Celtic protection knots are really amazing ways to be able to start to cleanse and also keep your space spiritually protected. The triquetra. Ooh, I was about to mess that word up. Triquetra is actually the Trinity symbol. It's a highly powerful energy. It's very protective. It's used in a lot of Wiccan or pagan contexts. But as you see, it's used in Christianity as well. So it actually has a very high frequency energy, and it can represent different. It just really represents different phases of reality, and kind of in a unified form. So that's also another great symbol to keep around, to keep the energy high, to keep the energy flowing in a great way. Um, the five-pointed star by itself, or the hexagram, which is the circle around the five-pointed star. Now, depending on what you're trying to do, manifesting, or you're trying to send energy, if you're just trying to bring energy in or you're trying to send energy, that determines how the star is turned. I mean, people try to say it's good and evil, but I don't really particularly agree with that way of thinking. But do whatever makes you feel comfortable. If turning it right side up makes you feel comfortable, turn it right side up. If turning it right side down makes you feel comfortable, turn it right side down. However your frequency or your energy guides you to do, you utilize that. Or if you don't like it, don't deal with it at all. African Adinkra symbols are amazingly powerful energies as well. Utilizing the particular symbol for protection. Also, the Sankofa symbol or love symbol can bring in lots of cleansing energies into the space. In Vodun, you have Veves. And these particular veves are utilized for different, to call the energies of different entities or different spirits. Just when utilizing something like veves, I just recommend you either work with somebody who knows about voodoo or voodoo, and or you do a lot of research yourself. Okay, that's the only disclaimer there. Protection mandalas. Protection mandalas, I would recommend if anybody's just beginning in their spiritual journey, mandalas are kind of a place to start because they deal with the unified oneness of everything. They kind of don't offend you in any way if you kind of have a predisposition towards, you may have like different associations with other symbols. Mandalas are just circles with all these beautiful designs through them, and they're actually geometric designs that come in from the center, and they're all fractalized. So they have different purposes. You can actually utilize protection mandalas, and you can actually get them as tapestries. Different places sell them. You can print them up online. You can create your own. You can hang them around your space, and they're really beautiful, and they have really beautiful energy to them. Protection sigils. There are preordained protection sigils, and then there are sigils that you actually create yourself. A sigil is just a symbol created with spiritual intention into it. So it doesn't actually have any type of rules on how you make sigils, although different people say to make sigils different ways. You can create your own protection sigils, or you can utilize pre-made protection sigils. And also, I included animal totems because we're talking about symbols and totems. Like seeing different animals actually has different messages from the universe, different synchronicities. So bringing like a figurine of those animals into your space or keeping it around, like elephants, turtles, snakes, these different animal totems for whatever reason, monkeys, they have protective energy kind of around them. And also you can utilize the ones that resonate with your energy. Maybe you can look into your Chinese astrology, or you can look up your spirit animals in different ways, and you can see your animal totems that way too. Okay? So here we go. Moving right along. I am going to check on if anybody has any questions because I can't see them from where I am because it's not available, which is kind of stupid. But it's okay. Everything will kind of work itself out, work it out. So those are all the symbols that I wanted to give you as far as protection and cleansing. Um, and the last part or the last piece of this webinar that I want to share with you is going to be about sonic or sound that can be used to encompass and invoke cleansing and protective energies. So did you know that the universe itself was formed by sound? Now that's powerful because I mean everything around us is vibrating on some frequency and it also emits some type of sound. So sound is actually a really beautiful way to cleanse the energy, and it's not readily talked about a lot, and it's very actually instantaneous and easy to cleanse a space with sound. So it's one of the most transformative tools, and you can use anything from mantras to bells, clapping, music, frequencies, so many different things to transform the energetic reality of your space. So some of the sounds that I really love to resonate with and I love to utilize to be able to clear my space are bells. You can get a meditation bell or a spirit bell or whatever type of bell and actually just ring it around the space. It brings in good energy, angels, fairies, very high frequency beings are attracted to high frequency sounds. So bells kind of resonate with that. That's actually why churches ring bells. Most old type of churches have bells. So it's a part of it. So that's actually, it's funny, some of the things you start to see in mainstream religion as well, actually doubling over into ancient spirituality and metaphysics and all those different things. So you can actually clap your hands as well. Hand clapping disperses negative energy as well. Bird sounds. It's funny because people think that birds are just making random sounds. Those sounds can cleanse and heal your aura. So bird sounds are another great way. Nature sounds in general are great for uplifting the frequency of a space and clearing out negative energy. Whales and dolphin sounds are really beautiful if you like them. I don't particularly care for whale or dolphin sounds, but actually that's something that my mother kind of really grew up. I kind of grew up around them. I don't particularly care for them, but if that's your steez, you love those types of things, utilize them. So dolphins and whale sounds are very beautiful sounds that can actually um, induce a higher spiritual state or reality. Moving natural water sounds, like streams, creeks, rivers, uh, waterfalls, that type of sound. If you don't have to go to the bathroom, are really amazing for bringing in positive energy. But don't listen to it if you have to go to the bathroom, because that's not going to induce the proper energy that you want. Live singing, actually, going in live singing, live music, period, is beautiful. So playing live instruments in your home, listening to live music live even helps to cleanse and purify and heal the aura as well. Mantras. Now, this is one of my favorite sections, and I actually have a whole um actual series that I did dedicated to mantras and sound frequencies and all of this and sonic healing as a whole. But one of my favorite mantras to utilize for the act of protection and spiritual protection and purification of a space is the mantra Om Vatwa Satwa Hum. Okay, that's Om Vatwa Satwa Hum. And Om Vatwa Satwa Hum, it really kind of disperses any negative karma or negative energy around your space. Also helps guard you against psychic vampires or psychic vampirism. And it's just an all-around amazing mantra. Om Shanti Om is great for bringing in peace. Also, kind of like the frankincense and myrrh, transformational energy that kind of uplifts takes that negative energy and transmutes it into higher forms of energy. Children laughing. So happy babies actually kind of help to uplift spaces as well. Children are very pure spirits, so their laughter and their happiness actually helps to disperse negative energies as well. Shamanic drumming, Native American, African, Asian, doesn't matter where it's from, that any type of spiritual or shamanic drumming is really beautiful for clearing and cleansing spaces spiritually. Affirmations said out loud. So if you work with affirmations, saying them out loud, because I tend to say them to myself a lot. So actually utilizing them and vocalizing them helps also to clear out negative energies and negative thought patterns, thought forms as well. Solfeggio frequencies. These are actually frequencies that were decoded from the Psalms of the Bible, from the geometric shapes. Solfeggio frequencies, I encourage anybody who works with sound or loves to listen to things and wants to invoke higher spiritual realities for themselves, work with solfeggio frequencies. And particularly 396 hertz has a very, very purificational energy towards it, as well as 528 hertz. Those are two of the really main frequencies that I recommend highly because of their properties, but there are so many other properties frequencies as well that have other great properties with them. Shoma's resonance frequency. Schaumann's resonance is actually the frequency at which the planet resonates. So playing that frequency clears out any energy or negative stagnant energies that are left out in your space. Um, Planetary frequencies, like playing the frequency of Mars or Jupiter, actually can help to also get rid of negative energies in the space. Mars is the planet of protection, war, like kind of strategy, all these different things, but it's a very protective force. And then Jupiter deals with abundance, luck, and expansion. So that's kind of good for bringing in positive energy. Um, Binaural beats as well. They're similar to solfeggio frequencies. They're actually two frequencies playing simultaneously in your ears that create one frequency in your that you're hearing one frequency, and it actually trains your brain out of negative thought patterns. So that's another way. Playing them either in headphones or in space is a great way to kind of purify the energy as well. And last but not least, this is one of my favorite Tibetan singing bowls. Such a beautiful sound that really invites a beautiful positive and invokes a beautiful positive energy in any space. Playing Tibetan singing bowls is probably one of the most powerful, along with live instrumentation and shamanic drumming, that powerful things that you can do to cleanse the space of your home. Okay? So, with all of those particular energies, I just want to leave you guys. Um, uh-huh. Sorry, some things had happened and I'm confused. Sorry. La 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 la. Sorry about that. So, those are all of the tips I would give you to kind of be able to create your own spiritual regimens. I encourage you and implore you to utilize any of those tools and even do more research outside of this, but kind of using those things as a template to bring different frequencies into your space, utilizing all different elements, and kind of being able to experiment and play with what works for you, what works for your energy, and what works for your way of life as well. For me, smudging works because I love the air element because I am an air sign. For you, maybe it makes you choke and you don't want to smudge anything. Maybe you'd like to use spiritual mists instead. Everybody has their different preferences towards these different things. So kind of experiment and play around with all of those different frequencies and those different energies, and you'll be able to find what works for you eventually. So I want to leave you all with a very simple cleansing and protection practice that you can do on your own. So here's a simple aura cleansing recipe that can be used in your home, in a spirit bath, or sprinkled around the perimeter of your house. So I call it the aura reset mixture. Basically, what this mixture does is completely transforms the aura of whoever bathes or utilizes this liquid to surround themselves either or washing their body or their home with it. Okay, so the aura reset mixture consists of 1 cup of sea salt, 1 cup of apple cider vinegar, 1 whole juice of a lemon, 1 capful of bleach, 1 capful of ammonia, and 1 or more gallons of water. If you're going to bathe in this, you can choose to omit the bleach and the ammonia if you have a stigma about it, or if you have extremely sensitive skin. And just put a disclaimer out there. You can utilize this at your own risk. I personally have done this, and I'm sensitive to chemicals. Because it's a very small amount, it doesn't really affect the body. And I don't recommend bathing in this consistently. This is like a once a year, once every couple years type of thing that you really do. And it literally resets your aura. It really is like a deep cleansing, deep aura cleanse. So if you're going to use it in a bath, what I recommend that you do is you run the bath until it's a full bath, pour the ingredients into the bath, and light 1 small white candle. After lighting that candle, sit in the bath for 15 minutes completely submerged. Do not bathe in the water. Don't wash yourself. Don't bring a washcloth in there. Don't bring any suds. Don't bring any soap. Just submerge yourself in the water. This is spirit bath, not a body bath. Okay? So get out actually of the bath and towel off while taking the fresh wax of the candle, placing it on a wearable piece of jewelry or keepsake, however you want to do it, and keep that wax on your person for 3 days. And that will actually help you to reset the aura of the auric field. Um, using using this mixture in the room or around the home, you can pour the mix into the bucket with 1 gallon of water. Use the mix to wash the floor, the floorboards, or the sides of your home. And make sure that the windows are open while you're doing this, allowing for the negative energy to be guided outside of your home. Just lift up your windows and literally give that negative energy a space to go to. Also do that while you smudge as well. Open up the windows after the place has been smudged. Open up the windows so that you can let the negative energy out. Light that small white candle, burn it by the window while it's open, and leave it open until a small, like a tea light candle, doesn't have to be a big candle, a very small like tea light candle. Let it burn out, then close all the windows of the home. And after it's finished burning, then you can smudge with like a frankincense, sweetgrass, palo santo wood. Any of those things would be great to smudge with afterwards to reinvite and reinvigorate your space with a positive energy. So that's a very, very simple, practical practice that you can utilize to be able to bring into your spiritual practice. And so I hope that everybody has enjoyed this presentation. Make sure that you guys go to facebook.com/Gemini Creations for more information. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Gemini Creations, for more informative spiritual lectures, presentations, workshops, webinars, and all these amazing things to come. So you can also reach out to us on our Etsy site, which is etsy.com/shop or /Gemini Creations, or you can go to Gemini Creations, GEMINEYE Creations with a Z.etsy.com, and you can find us there. And we have a lot of these herbs for sale and available. We have a lot of the crystals available for purchase as well. And you can also talk to me as a spiritual coach. We have services and all types of things available. So please come on by, see what we have to offer. And you can sign up for our newsletter if you have not already, to be able to receive constant flow of updates as to what's going on with Gemini Creations, and to get more amazing information just like this. So thank you so much for spending this time with us. I hope that this energy has touched you and that you've gotten some type of positive information from this, and feedback on things that you can actually utilize to improve the quality and the overall quality of your living space. Okay, so that sums it up for me. Of course, again, I am Ashante Tay Queen Fernandes, for the owner and hostess of Gemini Creations. And I invite you all to just, live a very beautiful and prosperous life. Peace and blessings.